morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. How are you guys doing today? Hi, Violet. Good morning. Thank you for tuning in. Can you guys see me well? Can you hear me well? Thank you so much for confirming that. Who is new here? Who is this your first time? Maybe second time with me? Just want to say hi. Hi, Lisa. Good morning, Emilio. Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you so much, Susan. Your first time, Sherry. Thank you. Natalie. Hola, Cecilia. First time here. Ruchita. Hello, Emilio and everyone. Hi, Elena. Second time here. I usually have to work at this time. Martina. So that's something I wanted to, guys, ask you about. Hi, Hannah. For those of you who are new, welcome. My name is Emilio Jose Garcia, and I do live calls here on Inside Timer, normally twice a week. I've been doing them since, I think, February or March of last year, and I really enjoy them. I also have 3 courses on Inside Timer that you can check, and I also have upcoming workshops that you can check. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. I wanted to ask you guys a question about timing, okay? And I had several people. I know that doing these calls worldwide, the time zones are very different for each person, and it's very difficult for you guys to tune in always at the same time. So thank you, Cecilia. So how do you guys feel if in that week I were to do, I don't know, Tuesdays I do this time, and maybe Thursdays I do at 2 p.m. my time here? Like, would that work for you guys or no? I'm just curious to know, would having a rotating time, like one time on the AM and another time on the PM, will that help you make it to more sessions? This is the perfect time, CJ says. Yes, sure, that works for me. Because I'm trying to like be intentional, and this is something, guys, I want to share what I'm doing with you so that you understand, because today's topic is about that, right? Today's topic is about how can we make better questions so that we can get better results and we can create a better life for ourselves. Okay? So, Martina, I am in Canada. So right now I'm trying to design my week. And for those of you guys who know, I do an exercise where I monitor my time, I monitor my tasks, and then I create a week that I will love. Okay, that's how I do it. And that's something that I'm gonna cover in the workshop, to go really in depth doing that exercise. So I'm trying to create my week, and I have Tuesdays and Thursdays, I have designated them to be the online days for me. So those days are gonna have my one-on-one calls, those days are gonna have my workshops, and those days are gonna have these live calls. Okay? Canada is Easter time. Okay? So I was thinking, how can I reach majority of the people, and how can I make it the most convenient for you guys? And I was thinking on maybe tweaking the times. So that's why I was thinking, because if some of you cannot make it in the AM, but you can make it on the PM or vice versa, maybe it's better if I do one of each week. So that way you guys all have access to me and to these calls. So that will be more intentional maybe. I don't know. I'm just asking. How do you guys feel about that idea? Mid-afternoon here. So right now it's 10 a.m. my time, 10 a.m. Okay. So the other time that I was thinking on doing it one time will be between 2 and 4 p.m. my time. Okay. So right now it's 10 a.m. for me. So 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say between 4 and 6 hours later. So how will it work if I were to do one of these lives 4 to 6 hours later? Sounds like a great idea. So maybe I just give it a try, but I just wanted to like brainstorm with you. So this came, again, today's topic is about how can you use better questions? Because how many of you have gone to Google or to a browser asking for something, okay? And then you just type a very general question. when you type a very general question, what kind of answer are you going to receive? Is it going to be a really good answer, or is it going to be, this is not really helpful? Would you keep the same subject matter for each option? I don't know, CJ. I think I will probably still alternate, because if people can make it both sessions, it may be boring. Or maybe I can do the same topic. I don't know yet. I'm just brainstorming here with you guys. But talking about the questions, again, like what happens if you go to Google and then you say, okay, I have a specific question. Yeah, 2 white search results. Okay, so what happens if you create a very specific question? That then you're gonna get a very, very specific result. So guys, the same happens with your brain, okay? Yes, Beth, I do record them, and I have them all on my website, so you can find them all and you can listen to them, okay? So what happens when you make a really good question? You get a really good answer, or at least you are going to work towards getting a really good answer, okay? So that's what happens with our brain too. If I were to say, if I don't question anything, I just go through my day and I'm not intentional. Maybe I don't like what I see, but I don't do anything about it. I'm always frustrated. And then that's not fun. At least for me, it's not fun. So that's why I am constantly asking myself questions. Like, I am frustrated now with my daughter because she comes home and then she leaves all the jackets there and I just don't know what to do. So my question will be, how can I create a solution for my daughter to be able to put jackets away in a fun way, in a way that I don't have to do it all the time, in a way that she can reach, and in a way that is gonna be playful, okay? So that's when I just created a solution, and it's something that you can see here. For example, this is just one solution. Let me see if you can see that, okay? So that's what I created for her, okay? So that's just one example of a frustration that I had, and then how I found a solution because I asked a really intentional question. Okay, I think that will be 8 p.m. in the UK. Beth, your doggy looks like a puppy version. So, hello Cecilia, everything is fine here with me and family. Okay, Amy says if you decide to alternate times, it's better because I record. Amazing. So thank you so much for your input about that. I just wanted to double check with you guys. You are an amazing dad just because you think it needs to be fun for Eva. Yeah, so but that's just one example, okay? Another example of professionally speaking, I was thinking, how can I make my week more intentional? And then for me, then I have to think, what does it mean for me to have an intentional week? Okay, for me, having an intentional week means having clarity. Okay, clarity is a huge one. I need to have clarity so that I can set my mindset into what I'm gonna do that day. When I was doing live and online work mixed with in-person work and mixed with playful, going to squash, seeing friends, when I mix everything together every single day, it became very overwhelming for me. Sometimes it's like, I don't really know what I'm doing today. So I found that when I ask myself, how can I make my days more intentional? And how can I keep my energy and creativity better? How can I nurture my creativity and my energy in a way that feels good to me, in a way that I can prolong it, in a way that feels playful and it feels that I am making progress? Okay, so that's when I ask myself that question, and then that's coming to every Tuesday and Thursday. Those are going to be my online days. And then every Wednesday, that's when my wife and I work one-on-one with people in their homes. Fridays are normally a neutral day because Eva doesn't go to daycare and I have her half of the day. The other half, it's a neutral day. I can do whatever I want there. And then Mondays, it's an open day for me too, so I can do whatever I want. So that makes me feel more in control. That makes me feel more like when someone asks me, can you do something? I know that Tuesdays and Thursdays is a no, because I have my online mindset and I am excited and I am communicating with you guys and I want to give it all. And I feel well doing that. So that's how it came for me, that specific thing. So for you guys, and sharing the chat, what is a frustration that you have that you can ask a better question? a more specific question so that you can get a more specific answer, or that your brain starts to think about options. Because sometimes you will ask a question and you have no idea how to make it happen. But that's what the brain is going to be doing. You are going to ask that question and the brain is going to start working, looking for a solution to your specific question. Okay? So I am trying to help So Rebecca says, I think she is still writing, making the decision to move and where. So Marcy, let's take your example. For example, Marcy, you want to make the decision to move and where. So when you ask yourself that question, your brain is going to start looking for answers. But because that question right now is very broad, you are going to get very broad answers, okay? So how can we make your question more specific? And I have ideas right now, but guys, how can we make Marcy make her question more specific, more intentional, so that she can receive better answers? Rebecca says, I am trying to help a lot of people. So Rebecca, that was me a few months ago, a few years ago, and still today. I always question myself, how can I help a lot of people while I have fun, while I get paid well, while it's sustainable for me, while I can maintain my free time, I can maintain my family time, and I don't go insane along the way? That was my question. So how can I be intentional that way? And that's why I started receiving better answers, because I started to make better questions. And for me, having control of my time, it was non-negotiable. So that wasn't even in the question. So I want to still have control of my time. So how can I help a lot of people while I still have free time for self-care and for family and to have fun? And how can I do it in a way that I have fun along the way too? You see? So that question becomes more complicated, more intentional, and then I started to seek for different answers. And that's how I find Insight Timer. Let me tell you, that's how I found this community. Because my brain was looking for options, and I found Insight Timer, and I explored the idea, I tested, and then it started taking traction, and I had a lot of fun along the way. And that's why I'm still here 1 year later, consistently doing lives every single week, because I love doing it. I am helping you guys, hopefully. And then I have courses, I have workshops, I have ways that Insight Timer pays me for my time. So it's a win-win situation for everybody. So let's see, ask more questions like what kind of weather, location, etc. Cecilia, I love it. Asking more specific questions about why do you want to move? Where do you want to move? How do you envision your environment to be? Are you a city person, a small town person, a farm person, a completely isolated in a full year cottage person? You want to be by the water, you want to be by the mountains, you want to be in the desert. Start asking more deeper and intentional questions, and then your brain is going to start looking for options that match what you are asking for. Okay? Some people I may have to choose not to help so much. Rebecca, amazing. You are setting boundaries. And this is why when you ask these questions, you have to put conditions to those questions. If you remember, my question was, how can I help a lot of people live more intentionally while having fun at the same time, while still having full control of my time and energy, while not consuming myself into doing it for too long so that I feel drained? So I start putting boundaries here. And those boundaries come from you guys testing your ideas and seeing how it feels. So for Marcy, for example, I moved to help my parents and now they have passed. Sorry to hear that, Marcy, and beautiful what you did for them. I'm pretty sure they really loved every minute of it. And I'm sure you loved being able to spend the last time with them. So in your case, so I still have family here and network. So Marcy, now you have to start testing. You now have a little bit of time to react, a little bit of time to like I'm sure you are grieving and you have emotional roller coaster that is going on, and that's normal. But as you start embracing this new reality for you, this new life stage, that is living without your parents, and maybe you are questioning, what should I do now? Where should I live? What are my options? It's okay to not know what you want to do yet, because maybe you still didn't have even the time to think about it. So now is the time to explore options. It's the time to remove any pressure. You don't have to make any rush decisions. Just think, what are my options? And what's something that feels good? And start visualizing what happens if I stay here, and then visualize that lifestyle, and then see how you feel. And then say, okay, what happens if I move to the ocean? How will that lifestyle look like? Oh, I will like listening to the sea, and I love surfing, I love the beach, the sun. What happens if you move to the mountains and it's cold, you can ski, it's winter time, you have a fireplace? You know what I mean? Start exploring ideas and start feeling them. Start really connecting with them and see how it feels. And I know that right now maybe you don't have that capacity, and that is okay. You need to grieve, and you need to be gentle with yourself and go through this transition, focusing a little bit on self-care and doing things that make you feel well, because you need that right now. Okay, my brother wants me to sell house ASAP. So I'm sure there are family stuff happening, like in every family when inheritance kicks in. Sometimes it gets very messy. Rebecca says, what boundaries did you make in your case? So Rebecca, boundaries that I didn't make in my case, when it's regarding to business, I started to create windows of intentional time. Meaning, right now I have a window of 45 minutes to 60 minutes for this online call. I have another window for workshops that I do online. I have another window for work with one-on-one, virtually with clients that I do. I have a window of time every Wednesday to work with my wife in my clients' homes locally here. That's the day that we both decided that's the priority for that day. Of course, if we don't have a project booked, I can do something else, but the priority is always that. I always have the boundary that I put my phone away every night and I don't look at it until the morning. I have a boundary that every weekend it's normally family stuff and fun stuff, and I try not to do any work. And if I do it, it's because it feels good and I feel like doing it, not because I have to do it. And that's how I do it. And I have intentional time with my daughter, and I try not to get anything in there. And that's my time with her. And it's 50% of the time. My wife does 50%, I do 50%. I have time for cooking. I am responsible for lunch every other day, and for dishes, and for laundry every other time. So that's how we created boundaries, right? My wife and I, with our business, that's how we started to create healthy boundaries that felt good to us. And again, you have to test them. You have to see how they feel, and then you have to tweak them, and you have to keep testing again. And over time, it will become easier and easier. Okay? Yeah, Christine, great question. Very stressful. I want to move to warmer climate by year's end. So Jackie has a great, so now is where is that, right? And then, for example, we are planning on doing a sabbatical to Spain next year. And we have decided, my wife and I have decided to get started mid-December this year, 2022, and then spend a full year in Spain. Why? Because we felt that going to Spain for a full year will allow us to, my wife and my daughter Eva, to learn Spanish better, to be fluent, spend quality time with my family that right now we don't get, experience another climate, get to know my country more with my wife and my daughter, and have easy access to European countries because we have family in Sweden, in other places, so be able to go there easily. And while still doing this work. Okay, so that was my question. How can I move to Spain for 1 year while still working, while still doing what I love, in a way that feels good and feels aligned and allows me to have a lifestyle where my priority is going to be family time? But that doesn't mean that I have to give up my work. But how can I create that boundary in a way that feels good? So I have a full year to figure that out. And all the details are going to start coming along the way. because I'm gonna start asking more intentional questions like, how can I find someone to come to my place here in Canada to live here and take care of my cat Negrito? Okay, that right now, look where he is. He's having a hard time. You see him? Okay, so how can I move to Spain and find someone to move into my place and take care of our cat? Okay, what part of Spain, Cecilia? I don't know yet. Most likely Barcelona, but I don't know yet. That's another thing. Where can we move to Spain that is easy to find a place to stay, that is easy for my family to access? Maybe we can have a bigger home so that people can come and stay. So we have a lot of options here. So that's why our job now is to, tonight, my wife and I, we have a meeting together. We're going to do like a little ceremony. And we are going to start asking each other, where would you like to live? And then we will close our eyes, and then Samantha will describe what she will enjoy. And I will describe what I will enjoy. And then we're going to both step into each other's ideas. And then this is a process that is going to help us tune into what we really want and tune into what we don't want. So become aware of like, oh, I don't really want to need a car while I'm there. For example, I don't want to have to buy a car to move around. So that will condition where we live. Or maybe it's like, no, I want to have a car because I want to live further away because it's cheaper and it makes more sense. So that's going to create a different scenario. So, so we are starting to explore ideas and then see which one feels good to us. Okay? So again, guys, sabbatical sounds great, but not so easy to decide for people with jobs with fixed location. Christine, that was another question that my wife and I had 11 years ago in 2012. Before that, I took my wife, we were both working for someone else, and I was frustrated, and we both knew, because when we met, we both knew, like, down the road, we want to work for ourselves. We want to have full control of our time and our creativity. We both knew that. We had no idea how to make it happen. So the question that we did when we came to Canada, after being working for like almost a year for other people, and feeling frustrated with the same reasons, like, I am doing a good job and it doesn't matter. I have to be there 8 hours every day. It doesn't matter if I'm the best or the worst. I just show up and I have to be there for 8 hours. So if I find a way to make that job in half the time, it doesn't matter. I have to stay there for 8 hours. That frustrated me a lot. There is no reward. My motivation was decreasing. It was a good job, but I was like not fulfilled. That's why I took my wife one day, I sat her in a cafe and I say, what can we do so that we both use the skills that we love, so that we are helping other people, so that they are willing to pay us, and we are willing to start working for ourselves. And guys, we had no idea how to do that, but we got started with what we knew. And then from there, 10 years from now, here I am, still working for myself, and now doing 100% what I love. And that's it. I'm not doing anything else. But before, I was doing installations, I was doing glide outs, I was doing cleaning, I was doing moving, I was doing a bunch of stuff until I got here. Because I kept asking myself better questions and getting better results, better options. So that's how I did it. Your journey is going to look a little bit different. It's hard to ask questions and wait for the answers when you need an answer soon. So Ingrid, why do you need an answer soon? What are you trying to change? Because this is another thing, guys. When you are asking for something new into your life, how likely are you to get it if you are being ungrateful right now, if you are not happy right now, if you are in a place of negativity right now? How likely are you to attract something better into your life? And how likely are you to attract something better into your life when you are being grateful for what you have right now? You are being happy for what you have right now. You appreciate everything that is coming to you. And you understand that the process sometimes takes time, that things happen for a reason. And let me tell you that my wife and I struggled so much with finances, with marketing. Every month it was a struggle to know, are we going to make it? Are we going to have enough money to pay for things? Are we going to have enough work? And we always had to trust. We always had to do our best to the best of our abilities, and then trust that the process will unfold the way it should. So I know that it's hard sometimes, and that's why sometimes when it comes to work, if that's your pressure, you need to get a job while you work on your business. That's what we did. We transitioned temporarily. So I was full-time, and then I was part-time, and then I was doing a few hours, and then I completely released my job. So it wasn't like a boom. Okay? So I don't know if that resonates with you. Mi apellido es Alcalá, tengo raíces españolas y mexicanas. Mónica, amazing. I didn't know that. Alcalá is a very Spanish name. Okay, guys, what's coming up for you? What kind of questions are coming up for you right now that you feel like maybe you can go deeper? Let's just brainstorm together here. Okay, I don't see any movement in the chat. I hope that the chat is working. So you guys don't have any specific questions that you would like to go deeper into? Because I can keep talking about myself, but I think it will be more helpful if you guys start thinking about what is an area of your life that you think, that you feel that you want to make changes. Even if you don't know what that is yet, it doesn't matter. But if you have the feeling of like, I feel I have to do something here. Maybe my diet, maybe with my body, maybe with work, maybe with family relationships, maybe with physical stuff and my home and how it looks like and how it functions, maybe with my self-care and maybe creating a better routine or feeling more inspired to like practice more or meditate more or breathe more or whatever that is for you. And then once you have that, like an awareness, or sometimes you have a frustration. Sometimes you feel like, every time I try to cook, I just feel frustrated. So maybe it's asking like, why am I feeling frustrated, and how can I make the process of cooking more enjoyable and simpler? Or how can I create a meal planning that allows me to eat healthier while saving time and money? You see? So that's what we did too. We don't like to cook every single day, and we don't want to overspend and throw food away because it expires. So we ask ourselves, how can we make a meal plan so that we save time, so that we save money, so that we eat healthy, and so that we both contribute to it? Because a frustration that my wife and we had is that when it's not designated, I was dropping the ball, she sometimes was cooking more than I was. And it's true, if I don't know I'm responsible on Thursday to make lunch, I will just go on and I won't have that intention in there because I don't know it's my responsibility, right? And then if Samantha comes earlier than me and she's hungry and she makes lunch, if she makes that 10 times, she's gonna be frustrated with me. So she named that frustration, and that's when we both started to think, how can we make this better? And now we alternate days, okay? So that's another solution that came from a frustration, that came from an intentional question of how can we eat healthier while we save time, save money, and save frustrations with each other, okay? How many people are frustrated cooking? Making lunch, making dinner, thinking about what am I gonna make tonight for dinner? I don't have the groceries that I need. How many of you feel that you are wasting time and wasting money in just groceries, for example? Can you guys hear me and see me? Because I don't see anything in the chat, and I'm starting to worry. What? I don't know if you guys are too quiet or if the chat is not working, because I don't see anything in here. but I see that there are 125 meditators right now. So I'm surprised that I don't see any other chat. Okay, let me read. My grandfather came from La Mancha. Okay. I'm just gonna keep talking, but I don't see any chats, any messages in the chat. So I am concerned that it is not working. So I hope you guys can still hear me. Okay. So when it comes to asking better questions, I'm happy to show you how I do it. I have my journal. Okay. This is my journal, for example. So I do what I call a creation. Okay, and then how the creation looks like, I have different areas of my life in here. So I have body and mind, I have family and social, I have work, I have stuff, and I have giving back. Those are the categories that I have, and this one I made on September 2021. Okay, September 13th. Okay, it was a Monday, and I did it in a cafe called the Bauer Kitchen here in our city with Samantha. We went out there for lunch and we did it together. Okay, so some of the things that came out from that exercise that we do together every few months is like family and social. For example, I want to do an intentional dialogue at least once a week with my wife. So that's something that has happened. Why? Because I remind myself, I come to this list and I remind myself like, yes, that's something that is important for me, and I need to find the time to make it happen. So a question could be, how can we integrate intentional dialogue techniques in our week in a way that feels good, in a way that is playful, in a way that we both feel inspired to do it? So we started testing ideas, okay? And then we started testing what happens if we do it early in the morning before our daughter wakes up. What happens if we do it late at night when my daughter goes to bed? What happens if we do it over lunch, if we are having lunch together? So we started testing all these ideas, and then we realized like early morning, we are not very morning person, and we normally wake up at 6:37, we get up, and then our daughter is up, so we don't really have the time in the morning, and we don't want to wake up early every day to do this. Late at night, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, so we check with each other maybe and say, hey Sam, I would like to do an intentional dialogue. How do you feel? And then she may say, I am tired now, Emilio, I don't want to do it now. Or she may say, yes, let's do it. And what's happening now is that it's happening in the go, because we became good at doing them, and it doesn't take a lot of time. So anytime someone is frustrated, we will do an intentional dialogue right away. And honestly, in a few minutes, we get it done, and then everything is good, we feel better. So that's one example on how we are integrating this into our lives. Okay? Have any of you tried intentional dialogues? Because I talked about them all the time, and I am curious to know if you guys are experiencing them. Again, I don't see any movement in the chat, so I don't know what's going on, but I am trusting that you guys can hear me and watch me and see me. Okay, so what else? So under stuff, for example, we have decluttered the basement, and that's something that we did, but we needed to create the intention. And then Samantha and I, we sat together, because we normally do it together, it's easier than doing it alone. And then we just said, okay, how do we want the basement to look and feel like? Why do we want to declutter the basement? What is the intention of the basement? And for us, it was one part of the basement is for storage, the other part is for gardening. My wife has an indoor garden there that she wants to start, and I built some shelves for her, so she's gonna get that started. And then the other part is to store our electric scooter and electric skateboard in the winter time, because it's too cold to have them in the shed. So you see a lot of we have a section for donations, and we have a section where we store the winter stuff in the winter, like all the chairs, the table, stuff like that, gardening tools. So that was our intention. And also be able to rotate sports. Now we are into snowboarding, cross-country skiing. In the summer we do biking, we do rollerblading. So we normally switch what we have in the shed and what we have in the basement. So that was something that came up from this session. Like, how can we create a basement that feels good, that is practical, that it makes our life more simpler? Okay? And that's what we did. Okay? Guys, I am going to exit the session and come back to it and see if the chat starts working again, because I think it's not working. Okay? So stay there with me. I'm gonna just come back in a minute. Okay? Okay. Okay, still don't see the... Okay. Okay, well, it is what it is. Okay, what else? Something that I had. So another example that I can show you right now. I had in body and mind, I had to do some winter activities. So I was proactive during the summer thinking, how can I make my winter time more intentional? Because right now it's snowing, it's really cold outside. So going outside is great, but I don't want to be outside all the time like I do in the summer. So my activities outdoor are a little bit more limited, okay? So, and I also wanted to do something that didn't require devices. I wanted to do something that, like an active meditation, using my hands and creating something beautiful that I can share with other people. So one of the projects that I did is this thing here that you can see hanging on the wall. That was my guitar. I bought that guitar back in the day when I was traveling in Thailand. That was my first guitar, Spanish style guitar. That's where I learned how to play the guitar. It traveled with me everywhere, like Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, New Zealand, Australia, Sweden, Canada, Spain, all those countries. So I really have lots of memories with that guitar. So when it broke, something broke and it wasn't really fixable. So I thought, an intentional question, how can I make something intentional with this guitar while I get to spend quality time with myself using my hands, while I create a craft that can be useful and something that I can display so that every time I see that, I remember my guitar and all the time I spend learning on it. So that's what came up. I went online, I looked for ideas, and on Instagram, I saw someone that had this posted, or Pinterest maybe. Someone said, this is how you can upcycle a broken guitar. So I look at it and then I thought, I think I can do that. So I just removed the front, I cut the neck, and then I added those shelves that you can see there. And then now I have it hanging here. My wife put some trinkles in there and a little plant. And now every time I see that, it's such a cool thing that I did with my own hands. And it reminds me of all the memories of me playing the guitar. So that was another thing that came from this creation, this exercise that I did with my wife. So again, lots of ideas here on how I do it. Now I see some hearts working there, so amazing. Sorry guys, I don't see the chat. It's just not working for me. The last message I see is from Monica. So I don't really know what's going on. But guys, think about this. How can you ask yourself more intentional questions so that you can get more intentional answers? And again, the process doesn't work like you ask and it just comes to you and you just change completely right now. Most likely you are asking yourself questions that are going to be challenging, are going to challenge your mindset, they are going to challenge your habits, they are going to challenge the way you live now, they are going to challenge your brain in a way that your brain is going to need to expand to include new options, new possibilities that right now probably they are not in your radar. Okay, that's how this process like. You ask, you put it into the universe, how can I do this while X, Y, and Z? And then your brain is going to start looking. Okay, this is an option. Okay, that's an idea. Okay, this is an activity. Okay, this is, and then you are going to start getting information. You are going to start receiving stuff. Then you have to let go of the outcome. You cannot control how it happens. Okay, you need to trust and you have to be present, looking, feeling everything. What's coming to me? How am I feeling when I'm doing this? This doesn't feel good to me. What can I do to feel better? I'm going to try this thing. Oh, this opportunity came. I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to see how I feel when I do it. And then you go with an open mind, with no expectations whatsoever. Just be present and enjoy whatever you are doing. Okay? And then you will see, oh, that activity that I did, or that person that I met, or that house that I saw, or that country that I'm exploring to travel to, or that work, that job that I'm thinking about to apply, or that little small business idea that I have for myself, it's feeling really good, or it doesn't really feel good. I don't know why, it just doesn't feel good. But this is coming from a place of connection and awareness, okay? Sometimes things don't feel good, but it's the resistance that you have inside telling you, don't do that, but you have to do it, okay? And this happens when you are trying to change habits. You are going to face that resistance. But if you are grounded with yourself, you will know. You will know clearly, like, yeah, this is something that doesn't feel good, but I know I have to do it. Or you will feel like, yeah, this doesn't feel good, and I just don't have the need to do this. And it's not because I'm feeling resistance, it's just because it's not my cup of tea. And then you move on to the next thing, okay? Sometimes you have to stay where you are for a little bit while you are exploring these ideas, while you are making changes. Changes are not going to happen like that, and you cannot control how they will happen. The only thing you can control is how you react to those changes, how you ask those questions, and the intention that you put behind your actions, okay? If you take everything that you do from a place of curiosity, gratefulness, appreciation, always willing to get the best out of whatever situation you are in, always trying to find what is in here for me to learn from, what is something here that I can be grateful about, this thing happened to me, how can I make this a win situation for me, etc., etc., etc. From that place, it's when things are going to start moving for you. If you start focusing on, I want this and it's not happening, I'm not getting what I need, I have to keep working in this shitty job until I find a good one, you are not going to find anything from there, okay? It's gonna be very difficult. But if you are working in a place that you don't like I was, it's like, I still was grateful, like, I am grateful to have a job that pays for my bills, I am grateful to have people willing to hire me, I am grateful that I get to use my hands, I am grateful that I am in the process of looking for opportunities for myself, I am grateful that I am patient, I am grateful that I am open-minded and looking around for options, I am grateful that I'm always in good mood. You know what I mean? So, and then as an opportunity comes your way, you will say yes to it because it will feel aligned and it will feel good. It will just flow. And then when things start flowing, you know that you are in the right path, and then you just have to keep flowing through them. But you cannot flow if you are being ungrateful. You cannot flow if you are having expectations. You cannot flow if you want to micromanage every single step of the way and you don't let any magic, space, okay? Things need a little bit of space to unfold. And sometimes it's uncomfortable because it feels that we lose control. But we just have to be okay being there. We just have to be okay setting an intention and letting go of the outcome completely. Just showing up. Just reminding yourself, I will love this. How can I make this happen while I feel this, while I have this? Always in a positive way, always in an aligned way. Okay? So I hope that this helps you guys start questioning yourself, questioning your lifestyle, and start questioning the things that are important to you in a way that you feel well, in a way that makes sense to you. So you are the one who decides, what question do I need to ask here? How can I go deeper? How can I make this thing while these conditions are still met? How can I create these healthy boundaries? And once you have clarity about it, everything else outside you is going to unfold in a beautiful way to match that thing. Because right now, if you were to call me or make an appointment with me, you will know that I only work Tuesdays and Thursdays online. I only work one-on-one with people on Wednesdays, and that's my intention. Can I make exceptions? Of course I can, but that's my general intention, and everything is going to start unfolding that way for me because I am being clear, I am being grounded, and I am setting that intention. Tomorrow, the next week, the next month, if it doesn't feel good, I get to change my intention and I get to change how I do things. Okay, so this is not something that you have to do like this for the rest of your life. This is something that evolves as your lifestyle evolves. Okay, so guys, I hope you enjoyed this session. Sorry that I cannot see the chat, so I'm sure you are sharing a lot of stuff and I just can't see it, so I don't know why. But I want to remind you that I have 2 upcoming workshops. I see some hearts going there, so I know that you guys are still there. It says that there are 200 people here, so hopefully you guys are getting value from this, even if I don't see what's going on in the chat. Yeah, and then just reminding yourself that I have these 2 upcoming workshops that are happening. The first one is happening on January 17th. It's a Monday, and January 24th. So it's a 2-day workshop, okay? It's about minimalism, and we are gonna dive about this exercise specifically and how to embrace minimalism in every area of your life with intention, okay? And the second workshop that is starting on February 7th, it's also on Monday, and it goes for 5 Mondays, okay? February 7th, February 14th, February 21st, February 28th, and March 7th. We are going to be diving into intentional time management, into self-care and mindfulness, into peaceful and clutter-free home, into tame your paper clutter, and into meal planning flow. So that one that is 5 days, we're gonna dive deeper into each of those areas. And this is a video call. It will be a video conference. So we're gonna have an opportunity to dive way deeper than what we normally do here, okay? So again, if you are interested, you can find them on Insight Timer. If you go to my profile, you will find a tab that is called Workshops, and I am happy to share it with you right now. You can find all the information in there, and then you can just sign up in there if you are interested, okay? So this is how you do it. You go to Insight Timer, and then you search for Emilio Jose Garcia, and you see my face. You click in there, and then there are some tabs in here. If you click on the workshop right there, workshops, you have the first one here, and then you have the second one here, okay? And then you can see the pricing, the days, and if you click on them, it just tells you all the information about the workshop. You will get access to a circle. You will have a PDF that I will send you prior to, and then all the things that you will learn, okay? So that's how it works. And if you guys want to access the recordings, you go to the About tab that is on the right hand side on the top, the About, and then if you scroll a little bit down, you will find here, you can see the circle. My circle is here, my group that you can join, and this is the link where you can find all the recordings, okay? If you click in there, you are going to, this is my Insight Timer profile link. You are going to go to this website, that is my website, and then if you scroll down, you will see all the offerings that I have on Insight Timer, and then all the way down, you will find that the recordings are there. And I created a category for 2021, so you see? So these are all the recordings from 2021 are here, and this is the recording from last Tuesday. And you just click here on play, and it just starts playing the session, and you can listen to the whole important in your life, to the whole session. The more people that know about it. Okay, that's how you access those things, guys. Hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you on Tuesday, okay? And another exciting news that I have for you before I go is that in one of the sessions that I did with my wife, I invited her to come to some of the sessions here with you guys, and we are going to do a few sessions together. So they're gonna be coming up. One of them is going to be, for sure, intentional dialogues. We are going to model an intentional dialogue live so that you can see how it works, you can see how we do it, and then you can start using that technique with the people that you love, because it's amazing, okay? Have an amazing rest of your day. I hope to see you guys on Tuesday at the same time. And until then, live intentionally and start asking yourself more intentional questions. Okay? Have a wonderful Thursday. Adios.